Morning, everyone. Once more, we have a very interesting topic today. We'll continue with science. I mentioned that we'll talk about Beaver's blunder, homology, some other stuff. In one of my videos, I talk about that fate and reason, their allies and stuff. Uh, Jason Lies, one of the greatest scientific minds out there right now. Listen to what he says. Biblical fate and biblical reasoning actually work very well together. In fact, fate is a prerequisite of reason. Fate is a prerequisite of reason, meaning that every time you reason, you trust that your reason is functioning properly. Right? That is fundamental to science. And yet these things cannot be detected by science itself. With proper reasoning, we believe that our reasoning is functioning properly. If our reasoning is not functioning properly, science would be impossible. And also there's a moral dimension to science. We have to be honest in our conclusion and interpretation and stuff like that. In order to reason about anything, we must have faith that there are laws of logic which correctly prescribe the correct chain of reasoning. Since laws of logic cannot be observed with the senses, our confidence in them is a type of faith. For the Christian, it is reasonable. It is a reasonable, justified faith. The Christians would expect to find a standard of reasoning that reflects the thinking of the biblical God. That's what laws of logic are. On the other hand, the unbeliever cannot account for the laws of logic with his or her own worldview. So the biblical world is foundational to everything that we do. It makes more sense because there's a God that created these things. Other worldview like pantheism, Buddhism, because Buddhism has no God. The world is God, pantheism, atheism. That's why R.C. supposed to there's no honest atheists. They all believe in God, but they only suppress the truth. Doesn't matter what they say. Since laws of logic are necessary reasoning, and since Christian faith is the only faith system that can make sense of them, it follows that the Christian faith is the logical foundation for all reasoning. Proverbs 1:7, Colossians 2:3. This isn't to say, of course, that non-Christian cannot reason. Rather, it simply means they are being inconsistent when they reason. They are borrowing from the worldview contrary to the only one they profess. Same thing I mentioned in one of my videos about borrowing things from the Christian worldview, because what they're saying can't make sense in the worldview. There's no foundation for it. There's no premise for it to make it be a rational belief system. Since reason would be impossible without laws of logic which stem from the Christian faith, we have a very good reason for our faith. Without our faith, we could not reason. You hear that? Without our faith, we could not reason. I think Pascal mentioned something about that too. Pascal. Even believers inconsistent rely upon Christian principles, such as logics, whenever they reason about anything. So the Christian has good reason for his or her faith. In fact, Christian faith system makes reason possible. Even when believers inconsistently rely upon Christian principle. Nobody can deny God, the existence of God. No one. No one can refute this. It doesn't matter what they say. The denial of God has no impact upon the reality of God. It's just you saying I don't believe in the Grand Canyon. I don't believe in Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is there. Your belief about anything has no impact upon the objective reality of the thing itself. So a man can go through his entire life talking about he doesn't believe in God and try to come up with all kind of reason, rationalization, justification why God doesn't exist or why he doesn't believe in God. Who do you think is going to suffer? You think God is going to suffer? You are the one who's going to feel pain. You are the one who's going to feel the ultimate consequence of your decision that you make concerning God. When you say, I will never establish a relationship with this God, I will never believe in him, I don't want to have any relationship with him, that is fundamental. That will be real. That will impact you so much, and you will suffer great loss. Once again, not because you claim that you don't want to have a relationship, there is no God and I don't want to have a relationship with him. You somehow deprive God of who God really is. You can, God can stay there by himself, or, I don't care about any concept of God. The concept is irrational to me. Listen to this reasoning by Jason Lies. This guy's very astute up there, man. It's good. To debate over the existence of God is a bit like debate over the existence of air. Can you imagine someone arguing that air doesn't actually exist? Can you imagine that? Or oxygen doesn't exist? It's the same with God. Or he would offer seemingly excellent proofs against the existence of air, while simultaneously breathing air and expecting that we can hear his words as the sound is transmitted through the air. In order for us to hear and understand his claim, it would have to be wrong. Likewise, if the atheist, in arguing that God does not exist, must use laws of logic that only make sense if God does exist. In order for his argument to make sense, it would have to be wrong. You see the counterintuitiveness in all of this, contradiction in all of this, man. When a man doesn't believe in God, everything that God gave him is using against the very source of who he really is, the source of his rationality, the source of his thinking, verbal communication, everything. The atheist might say, well, I can reason just fine. I don't believe in God. But this is difficult than the critics of here saying, oxygen. Well, I can breathe just fine. I don't believe in here. This is not a rational response. Breathing requires air, not a profession of belief in here. Likewise, logical reasoning requires God, not a profession of belief in him. Of course, the atheist can respond. It is because God has made his mind and given him access to the laws of logic. And that's the point. It's because God exists and reasoning is possible. It is because God exists that reasoning is possible. The atheist can reason, but within his own worldview, he cannot account for his ability to reason. He can reason, he can talk rationally. A person who said that there is no God can talk rationally, but he can't give a foundation for why he can talk rationally. In order for him to say, well, there's a foundation for me to talk rationally, he has to go over to the theism, the Christian worldview. Just like they can deny morals, they can even if they believe in more. There's morals in the universe, and there are certain things that are immoral, and all of these things they cannot give account, because if they remove God, they remove the foundation of morality, right? So they're not speaking rationally. When they deny God and say, "Well, I believe in morality," who ground morality? Morality is expression of God's moral nature. That's what is the foundation of morals. That's why we can know when something is wrong and when something is right. Is because God who exists causes us to give us this moral dimension of who we are. But if we remove God, it makes no sense. The atheist might respond, laws of logic are convention made up by man, but convention are by definition conventional. That is, we all agree to them, and so they work like driving on the right side of the road. But if the laws of logic were conventional, then different culture could adopt different laws of logic, like driving on the left side of the road. So in some cultures, it might be perfectly fine to contradict yourself. In some societies, truth could be self-contradictory. Clearly, that wouldn't do. If the laws of logic are just convention, then they are not universal laws. Rational debate would be impossible if the laws of logic were conventional, because the two opponents could simply pick different standards for reasoning. Each would be right according to his own arbitrary standard. And this is where moral relativism come into be. That's what it's all about. There's no absolute standard about morality, and I determine what is right and wrong, and another guy determine right or wrong. If I steal something from him, who is he to come and judge me that what I did to him was wrong? Stealing is wrong. He's just as arbitrary as I am. It lead to a chaotic world, topsy-turvy world, irrational world, absurd world, to believe in moral relativism. Sheer nonsense. Nobody can live it. They create these things, they come up with all of these kind of philosophical thing all the time, but they're very impractical and make no sense in the real world. Because a moral relativist, if you do anything to him or thief anything from him, all of a sudden he become a moral absolutist. A moral absolutist. He instantly become a moral absolutist. Oh, it's wrong to take my stuff. The atheist might respond, the laws of logic are material that are made of electrochemical connections in the brain. But then the laws of logic are not universal. They would not extend beyond the brain. In other words, we couldn't argue that contradiction cannot occur on Mars, since no one's brain is on Mars. In fact, if the laws of logic are just electrochemical connection in the brain, then they would differ somewhat from person to person, because everyone has different connection in their brain. Sometimes an atheist will attempt to answer with a more pragmatic response. We use the laws of logic because they work. Unfortunately for him, that isn't the question. We all agree that the laws of logic work. They work because they are true. The question is, why do they exist in the first place? How can the atheist account for absolute standard of reasoning like the laws flashing? How can non-material things like the laws exist if the universe is material only? It's impossible. Impossible. That's Jason Lies, man. One of intellectual giants out there. Christian, and a lot of people wonder how could this guy with such a brilliant mind believe in this Christian thing, because they don't believe that Christianity offer any rational they offer any rational support or contribution to the whole scheme of things. I believe that Christian people are theologians and sense are dummies. Oh, they are the spiritual things, and they are believing this God that no science can't prove him, and all of these things. So that's why they always look down on us and mock us. We are just a set of dummies that believe in this great man in the sky that nobody can see, and all of these things. Most Christianity, the Christian faith, always is of extremely rational faith. Rational more than any other worldview system out there. I'm telling you, not because I'm a Christian, but I'm telling you, if you really do your research and you're reading, do investigation, and you say, what I'm talking the truth here, there's no way pantheism make better sense of the world than Christianity. No way. And you have another worldview, is probably not as popular as pantheism, we call it panentheism, which the universe is like the body of God. Let me give some scripture here before I go any further on certain things. In Romans 1, I'm going to read from Romans 1 verse 18. And show you the utter consequences in not believing that there's a God. And even though God make himself known, scientists and even philosophers are saying there is no proof for God in the entire universe. The proof of God is very, extremely evident within the universe. This universe is God universe. It displays his perfection, his power, his artistic, capacity. He's a God that loved to create with extreme beauty and diversity, and is a God that creates an abundance. You know how many species of ants you have? You know how many species of birds? Every animal God created with such lavishness. It loved to create, it loved to give in abundance. Even when it worked miracles for the people. He's a generous God, magnanimous. It says in Romans 1 verse 18, the wrath of God is being revealed. from heaven against all godliness and wickedness of the people. The wrath of God has been revealed. It is here. That no, you see what the words say, man? It is the wrath of God. Why? The wrath of God has been revealed from heaven against all godliness and wickedness of people. It is at these adjectives like wickedness. You don't hear people talk about people wicked anymore, man. People are not wicked. People have mental health issue. When somebody goes into a house and shoot the entire family, even the little baby, murder every single person in the house, they don't say that person is wicked and need to be given capital punishment. No, they say this person have some kind of mental health problem. That's what they say. And they just take him and institutionalize him, and then within no time he's out. All godliness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. The truth. They suppress the truth by their wickedness. Since what may be known about God is plain to them, very plain. The existence of God is very plain. Because God has made it plain to them, for since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. When you look in the universe, the intricacies, the complexities, the beauty, oh my God, how can a man, when people look at the sunset, they are struck all the time. And yet these same people would say this, all of this come by chance and time. Billions of years ago. No telesys behind it, no feelers at the hand, no purpose, no gold, no intelligence, nothing of that sort. It is a product of evolution, cosmic evolution. Is eternal power. All of this you see take enormous, infinite intelligence and power. All of this that we see, and we live in this world, breathe here, all of this, including ourselves, every living thing, a collection of living things within the universe itself. And yet, people like Stephen Hawkins, that when this guy come to talk, he like in Toronto, people will spend any amount of money to listen to him talk. They look at these men as some kind of godlike representative. Anything that they say about the universe is the law. more than God who created the universe. These men, they're born within the universe. The universe is here long before they came along. But when these men come, and anywhere they go have any talk, people will pay any amount of money to go and listen to them. And when they sit to listen to these guys, even if a feather fall from the sky on the floor, you could hear it. Quiet. Perfect attention. Because these godlike figure is speaking about the universe. They know everything about the universe. They are geniuses. Giant mind, grand intellect. John Lennox talk about Steve Hawkins. Brilliant. He have a PhD in mathematics. John Lennon has a PhD in mathematics at Oxford, and he says no, nowhere close to this guy, nowhere close to Stephen Hawkins. You could read about his biography, talk when he was little and stuff, and then he come down with this debilitating illness. Um, yeah, now he's dead. Now we're going to find out, see the real brain behind what he was studying all of these years, never come to know. A lot of things where these guys say about the universe, nothing goes like that, man. But people believe because they think that these people are so brilliant and anything they say about the universe. This guy have spent years trying to get rid of the beginning of the universe. Talk about the universe came into existence by some unknown laws. But if you put a theologian beside him, when he talks and then the theologian talks, they laugh at the theologian and mock him. Say he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm telling you, the theologian knows more about the universe than he does. A theologian know, Christians, just an ordinary Christian man, know about the universe than Stephen Hawkins. You might say, well, you're crazy? Stephen Hawkins? Yep. These guys talk a lot of stuff that cannot be proven by science itself. You try to use imaginary number to remove the singularity from the universe, even though the Bible and singularity is not. They don't really concur in a sense that singularity speak of the beginning of the universe and God talk about the beginning of the universe. Stephen Hawking tried to get rid of the beginning of the universe. So he's more like probably a proponent for the eternality of the universe. But these are the people that scientists think they're it's almost like the universe are their brain children. So well, there are different aspects, like they come up with different theories, even though it's a brainchild of God, but it's like they're the one who made the universe what it is. They can tell you how it come to be. They can tell you all the different aspects of it, dark matter, all kind of matter, and all of these things. And many of these things are just hypotheses and stuff like this. So everybody will come up with a different slice of what they think the universe is. And none of them can be proven by science. And even the Big Bang has a lot of problem with it too. I read their works. For although they know God, every single human being know God. That is a God. He's just suppressing the truth. Imago Deo, the image of God, we're image bearer. And sensus divinitatis, we have a sense of the divine. It's there. It's imprinted upon our soul. For although they know God, they need to glorify him as God. No, they deny him. At least they're trying, which is impossible. Nor give thanks to him, for sure. I have nothing to do with him. I don't give thanks to this guy. Sometimes they call him some names. Utter irreverence. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish heart was darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, of course, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the mortal God for images made to look like mortal human beings, and birds and animals and reptiles. And because of that, God gave them over. All you see what's taking place in the world today, All this corruption and wickedness is taking place in the world today is due to our suppression of God's truth. And God's wrath is revealed from heaven on the people. And what? That's why you see all these nastiness and corruption in today's society. People have no regard for life. No respect for another human being. Is like worse than an insect. Sexual corruption and perversion, God gave them over out of judgment and his wrath because they refused to acknowledge him and worship him. And sometimes when I listen to certain debates with some atheists having with a Christian theologian, they always come up with this "Oh, you guys don't believe in homosexuality and all of these things." You see, everybody think that this thing is somehow is a hallmark of, I don't know, we are wicked and we are vile not to accept these people in these corruption. They look on us Christian and theologian. Every time I watch a debate between a Christian theologian and an atheist, that's one of the things you always bring up: sodomy. Because he's trying to put down the Christian because, oh, you don't believe in these things and you don't accept these things and all of these things, as though it's something good. How that come into it? How does that come into the debate? It's beyond me. Just like watching a movie on TV and all of a sudden you see this thing just pop up and you say, what does this have to do with the movie? It's all something planned. Indoctrination. Never else want to deal with that today still. I just want to deal with scientific stuff. We talk about time and chance. People, everything when it comes to evolution, everything that comes into the secular worldview, you came here by time and chance. Universe came here by time and chance. When we look around us, we don't see anything that, or the car that we drive, as I said before in my previous video, none of these things that we see are all these brilliant architectural structured vehicle, all these machines. None of these things come by time and chance. Let me say put time in the sense that it takes time to do a lot of these things and build a lot of these things in that sense, but not by chance. And we have to understand that chance only makes sense in the backdrop of design too, because if without design, we wouldn't know, we would have the concept of what chance is anyway. But people use these things. Time is a dimension according to scientific definition. It was created within the universe, with the universe. It's linear progression, move straight. Can't go back in time. Let's go forward. Inexorably forward. Now, time can't do anything. Probably most you can say time is a marker of progression. It's a marker of progression. It takes time to do certain things. How long? The time it takes from conception to parturition for a woman to have this case about 9 months. So we measure time that way. But time has no causal power. Chance does nothing. Nothing. Let me explain to you. From the great Dr. Norman L. Geisler, now deceased, but great mind guy. I love to read this guy's work, man, because when I'm talking, I want to make a lot of sense. And, I learned from these men. I learned a lot from these men. James Storr, James Lies, Norman Geisler, Dr. James White, even William Lane Craig, um, Dr. Stephen Myers, R.C. Sproul, and this guy that you might mention a little bit more. These guys are brilliant guys when to talk about genetics, and Michael B. And all of these guys, man, are my teachers, man. I love to read about works like these guys. All of these guys are my teachers. Learn a lot from them. Right? I don't want to talk nonsense. Because when you talk like you check me out. And this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So I quote them a lot and read their works. Because I consider them as my teacher. Right? So I read a lot of their works. Now listen to what Dr. Geisler said concerning chance. And also R.C. Sproul have a little thing about chance. He said chance and theism. Chance conceived either as a lack of a cause or as a cause in itself is incompatible with theism. As long as chance rules, author Collister noted, God is an anachronism. The existence of chance tips God off his cosmic throne. God and chance are mutually exclusive. If chance exists, God is not in complete control of the universe. There cannot even exist an intelligent designer. Anachronism is a chronological misplacement of events and things. Sometimes ago, the movie Games of Thrones. I think on the set, someone those guys who work on the set left some can. I don't remember if it's Coca-Cola or one of those on the set, and then they forgot that it was there, and the viewers saw it, and then they, was making a noise over it because it's not supposed to be there because those things didn't exist in those times. That is anachronism, and they have to get it off the set, and stuff like that. So that's what anachronism is. The nature of chance. Definition of the word chance depends partly on the worldview gender of the one thing, of one doing and defining. Two usages are commonly confused with speaking about the origin of things. Chance is a mathematical probability, and chance as a real cause. That's the second one. So two usages are commonly confused when speaking about the origin of things. Chance as a mathematical probability and chance as a real cause. And this is what Darwinism and many scientific people still hold on to. Chance is a real cause. The first is merely abstract, which is a mathematical probability. When rolling a dice, the chances are 1 in 6 that the number 6 will come out on top. The odds are 1 in 36 that two dices will both come up 6, and 1 in 216 that 3 sixes will be thrown on 3 dice. These are abstract mathematical probabilities. But chance did not cause those 3 dice to turn up 6s. What did it was the force of throwing them, their starting position in the end, the angle of the toss, how they deflect off object in their way, and other results of inertia. Chance has nothing to do with it. As Sproul put it, chance has no power to do anything. It is cosmically, totally, consummately impotent. That's what R.C. Sproul said. Listen to it. It is cosmically, totally, consummately impotent. Impotent. Can do nothing. Useless. Let's one think we have loaded the dice by citing an atheist here. Hear the word of Hume. Chance, when strictly examined, is a mere negative word and means not any real power which has anywhere a being. He added, though there be no such thing as chance in the world, our ignorance of the real cause of any event has the same influence on the understanding and begets a like species of belief or opinion. Herbert Jackie in God and the Cosmologist has an insightful chapter titled Loaded Dice. He refers to Pierre Delbert, who said, chance appears today as law, the most general of all laws. This is what happened in today's science today. They look at chance as some kind of law, the law of laws, the most general of all laws. You see that? This is magic, not science. Scientific laws deal with regular, not irregular, as chance is. Also, the laws of physics do not cause anything. They simply describe the way things happen regularly in the world as a result of physical causes. God used secondary causes. God is a primary efficient cause of all things, but God used secondary causes to do things. The laws of physics that describe how God operates within his universe. That's what the laws of physics is. The laws of physics are. They can't do anything. They describe how God upholds his universe. The law of mathematics can't do anything either. It tells you that when you put 2 and 2 together, it's 4. Right? That's what it does. It can't just describe that way, but it can't put the money in your pocket. You understand? Laws don't have that power. Any laws whatsoever don't have that causal power. They describe the operation, the natural process of the universe. Likewise, the laws of mathematics do not cause anything, as I just mentioned. They simply insist that if I put 5 pennies in my empty right pocket and then put 7 more, then I must have 12 pennies. There, the laws of math never put 1 penny in any one pocket. The laws of math never put 1 penny in anybody. It doesn't put more money in a bank account. It doesn't put this whole walk thing that came up like a sudden gale of air or wind and wreak havoc rationally. They want to make it as if 4 and 4 can equal 5 and 4 plus 4 equals 7, all of these things. And that you are white maths, Indian maths, black maths, and all of these nonsense. How human beings, such an intelligent creature, can come up with these foolishness? It's beyond me, man. How can rational human being can sit down and come up with these nonsense, these irrationalities, these absurdities? See, can just describe when you had certain things or when you subtract. This is what the laws of math does. the laws of maths do. The basic fallacy of making chance into a causal power was stated well by Sproul, against R.C. Sproul, great wise theologian, passed and gone home to his creator now. Check him out. Check out. You have some good works, good books. R.C. Sproul. Chance is not an entity. Non-entities have no power because they have no being. To say that something happens or is caused by chance is to suggest attributing instrumental power to nothing. Chance is nothing. But it is absurd to claim that nothing proceed. But it is absurd to claim that something produce something. Nothing does not even exist, and hence has no power to cause anything. Not all chance events occur from natural phenomena. Intelligent causes can juxtapose as chance encounters. Two scientists working independently from different approaches make the same discovery. One rational being buries a treasure in the earth, another finds it by chance while digging the foundation of a house, or for a house. What appears to be random mixture is not necessarily without rational purpose. There is a rational purpose behind the designing of a random mixture of number sequence in a lottery drawing. There is a rational purpose for the random mixture of carbon dioxide while we exhale the surrounding air. Otherwise, we would rebreathe it and die of oxygen deprivation. In this sense, God the designer and chance randomness are not incompatible concepts. However, to speak of chance cause is meaningless. Meaningless. Conclusion. Strictly speaking, there can be no chance, cause, or origin of the universe and life. Every event has an adequate cause. The choices are either intelligent causes or non-intelligent causes, either natural cause or non-natural cause. The only way we can know which is by the kind of effect produced. Since the universe manifests intelligent design, it is reasonable to posit an intelligent cause. The apparent chance or randomness, like a lottery or a mixture of air molecule, may be part of the overall intelligent design. From Norman L. Geisler, you get an understanding about the whole concept of chance. I love God, man. God is brilliant and infinitely powerful, and people try to get rid of him, but they can't. They're getting rid of themselves instead. No man can fight God and win. It's impossible. You cannot take a war against God. You're not fighting like in Greek mythology, Zeus versus Hades, or the hybrid Hercules. This is not Greek mythology. This is the true and living God. Have you heard about Cogito ergo sum? Cogito ergo sum by Rene Descartes. Try to find a base of certainty, because everything seems to be in a state of flux to him. You want to, you know, there must something that is absolutely certain, well, certainty. And they come up with this philosophical concept, which mean I think therefore I am. Or probably better to put it that I am, therefore I think. I am, start from himself. I know that I am alive. I know that I exist. I am 100% certain that I exist. This is no brain in a vat thing what people always use, and this illusionary universe, and what we have no, we don't, just like something like Matrix, the Matrix movie. People try to use everything to disprove the objective reality, the real world, that the world that we're living is real, space, time, everything within the universe, energy is real. This is not some mental projection outward. It's one inward stimuli. What we see is actually what is. It's a real world that God created. And every man knows himself. That's the law of identity. I know who I am. I am who I am and not someone else. Make a brilliant contribution to scientific philosophy and philosophy. Now, when you come into in genetic entropy, Cornell University researcher John Sanford lifts the rug to see what evolutionary theory swept under it. It shows that not only does Darwinism not have answers of how information got into the genome, it doesn't even have answer for how it could remain there. Genetic entropy is a brilliant expose on the unreality of the primary axiom. It is written in a challenging style yet accessible to non-specialists having some minimal background in biology. At the same time, it has sufficient substance and documentation to cause the most highly trained biologists to rethink in a serious way what he or she has always believed about the primary axiom. In my opinion, was what this person is talking about, giving a critique of his book. The primary axiom. And you should check out James Storr. James Storr is one of the most brilliant minds on the face of the earth. James Storr, organic chemist, come Christian again. These, you see, you have some great mind on our side, man. A lot of great mind, a lot of Christian, a lot of scientists are becoming Christian by being fair with the evidence. Follow the evidence wherever it leads. Follow the evidence wherever it leads. What is the primary axiom according to this brilliant guy? The primary axiom of biological evolution essentially claims that typographical errors, that's mutations, and limited selective copying within an instruction manual can transform a wagon into a spaceship in the absence of any intelligent purpose or design. Do you find this concept credible? This is a whole we talk about information theory. I don't want to be long here. So I there are certain something more of some more information that I would like to go into. So probably I'll do that the next time because I didn't get to touch more of the mutation and the Beerus blunder and homology. I'll do that the next time because I don't want to be long. Because these things are fundamental when you start talk about one thing and then you have to, within no time, your time just within no time it's an hour. I don't want to fatigue you as you listen. So I'll leave that to our next time. Get back at that and junk DNA. The thing is that what I'm saying is that a lot of scientists, they jump the gun and they love to go to critique the things that they're studying because they want to find reason to show you that God couldn't do this is, you have all this kind of imperfection over, comes over all this problem. Intelligent, wise, infinite God will create this foolishness. These are some too much these are some imperfection within the design and all of these things. It's a sloppy designer and stuff like that. So they love to jump the gun and just say, well, this is a non-coding aspect of protein. It doesn't. It does. These molecules or these chromosome, they are part of the human genome. They don't code for protein, so it's junk. We need protein coding molecules that can, or a system that can encode for protein, because protein is everything. We get injured, the body, send out message and to get protein to rebuild and to restore body parts and stuff like that. Everything is about protein. So when an aspect of the human genome is not coding for protein, then it's useless, it's foolishness, and the term is junk DNA. And as scientists progresses, they found out that junk DNA, junk, who have the audacity to call God creation junk? Huh? There's no junk. Everything in the human body has its specific, what they call specified complexity as its purpose. You call God creation junk? And you can't make nothing in the body. The only thing you can make is plastic and metal and some microchips made out of plastic and metal again. You can't make nothing. They can't make flesh. They can't make bone. They can't. And yet you have so much audacity and hubris and arrogance. And I didn't know that science also, when somebody come up with a revolutionary idea, you always fight them. Why? And then the revolutionary idea turned out to be the philosopher's stone. This is the key to what they've been looking for all along, to solve certain problem that they had prior to the discovery of this revolutionary idea. Why? I didn't understand that science is like that. I think they would open-minded to when other scientists bring new ideas to the table and say, let's try this. It's just like in cancer now, everybody, this cancer, this doctor coming out and saying the cause of cancer is not, the deterioration of, mutation, deterioration of gene, cellular, biochemical function and stuff like that. Everything is DNA. And we have been trained to think that way and all of these things. And he says that's not the way to go. And I think the primary source of cancer problem is in the mitochondria and the power house, where the energy source of our cell and stuff like that is there. This is it. And they don't want to give him not a listing here. But why not? Why not say, okay, doc, let us try it, let us work here and see if what you're saying really pans out. No, if is they talking and fighting nobody, because when something become an institution in anything, within our scientific establishment, within the church, it's whatsoever it is, when somebody come up with something that is revolutionary, novel, they don't say, okay, let us see if that's really is the case. When Ignaz Samuel has come out, when people were dying, doctor then was killing off people because they were tending to corpses, and then they attend to mothers that were giving babies and stuff like that, and then they pass on germs, and then people, the mother uh, start to die, and then this guy come up on the scene and say, the problem is that, guy, you need to wash your hand before when you leave from one patient to the next. You must wash your hand. And the way he got it from the Bible. Wash your hands before you move on to the next patient. And they laugh at the guy, they mock him, these are scientists now. These are scientists. They laugh at the guy and they mocked him, they laugh at him and they mocked him. And the guy just died in depression. It's after his death they found out that he was talking the truth. They kill him. Before you laugh, why not just test the thing? Find out if he's talking the truth. Find out if he's either making experimental, empirical sense. That's what sense is all about, to test you guys. Even when you know that you can test the thing. Test it and see if it's work. If it doesn't work, well, then it doesn't. But why do you keep another scientist down, man, with his revolutionary ideas? This is why. And I know within science, everybody wants to dethrone Einstein. Everybody wants to, I don't think it's theory, this, and when you talk physics, you talk Einstein. And so, even though I heard one scientist say that if Isaac Newton was alive today, we'll have more Nobel Prize than any other scientist in the world. He's more brilliant than Einstein. Isaac Newton, don't forget. And he was also a Christian. He have some serious doctrinal issue, especially when it comes to the incarnation of the Son of God. And nobody want to mention, no scientists want to mention that part of him, that religious aspect of him. They just put that in the closet and lock it. They just want to deal with the science part. But you see, these scientists back then, majority of them, probably all of them, were Christian. They study God nature. They say, God, God created this. I want to see how he does it. But nowadays science said, didn't God create this thing? I'm going to tell you how nature does it. It's like they want to take the glory from God for themselves. Right? That's what they're doing. And everybody's vying for some notoriety, for some Nobel Prize, or some distinguished or some grand achievement. Every scientist is vying for that. So jostling for that. But if it doesn't take anything from you to say God created it and I want to see how he does it. You bring glory to him when you do that. But I don't want to bring glory to any being. I want to bring glory to myself. I want to get money for my research. So they all jostling for that special, noble spot. This is what science is all about, man. Theories and hypotheses and speculation. And they want to pass it out. So they talk a lot of things about universe and they have no clue what they're talking about. They posit things about, they look on certain things and they say, I think this is this. People talk about dark energy and dark matter. What is it? And every one of them will have something different to say. They contradict the one another because they don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot about science that tells you that, a lot about the universe that tells you this thing cannot come by chance. It cannot. It has to be the brainchild of an enormous, infinite, stupendous intelligence, wisdom, and they can't even fathom it. They can't. There are a lot of things they can't do. They can't get their hands on it. They can't get their brain around it. For instance, they can't explain. They cannot define energy. Even today, they cannot. The ontology of energy. Tell me what it is. What is energy? They can always give you a mathematical formula. But what it is, you're describing it in, you're giving me a mathematical formula of a thing. You're not telling me what it really, is. What is the ontology of energy? No scientist can tell you. Yet they're so bossy, as if they know it. Come on, man. They can't tell you. A lot of things within the universe is a conundrum to them. A lot of anomalies within the universe they cannot. So they just come up with some just so stories. Once again, I have to come to an end. Subscribe, people. It takes nothing for you to subscribe, man. And let us come together and reason. All of us are learners and teachers. There's something every man can teach. Every single man on the planet can teach you something. We learn every day. That's why I always say, I'm a student of every man. So take care. I hope you're learning something, and if you have any question, ask. If you have any comment, let me see what you're thinking. If you object to something that I'm saying, put it out. Let me answer it. Okay, so have a wonderful Sunday evening. Out now.